Jai Hind everyone, welcome to Patriotic IAS. Let's start the Hindu news discussion. Before entering into the discussion, I would like to bring some of the change that we are going to integrate in our session. First change will be that we will bring some of the UPSC previous question associated with the topic that is covered under the Hindu news and show the relevance with the UPSC. Second thing, we will also provide some of the practice questions after the session so that you could also practice and you could also evaluate yourself that what is your understanding after the covering the Hindu and what is your retaining capability. One more thing that we will provide is one subjective question on a daily basis and the model answer as well, so that you could write UPSC mains subjective answer on a daily basis, so that you could inculcate the habit of writing UPSC mains answer as your natural instincts. All this will be provided. This will be provided link below the video. So from from tomorrow onwards, today we will just take the session. From the tomorrow onwards, all these features, all these things will be provided. So let's start. The first news for the 2 days is sad news that there was the bomb blast in the Iran. The city where this took place is the Kerman. Kerman is the city. Just you have to remember this, that Kerman is associated with the Iran. I would not give you additional information because there is no need. Just this is sufficient. Second thing that is provided under this news, there is the 103 people killed in this blast. But you should remember that the place Beirut is the capital of the Lebanon. So as per the UPSC trend, these are the locations that has been mentioned in this news. So this becomes important. You must have been knowing that who was General Qasim Soleimani. He was the military leader and was very successful in fighting the Islamic State in Syria and Iraq. So this is the whole, and as for the UPSC trend, UPSC generally asks its location-based question from the international news. So for example, let's show that in the last year, even UPSC asked 7 questions. So these are the questions. Look the nature of a last year question. This was the question. This is associated with the particularly the different initiative that was infrastructure initiative where either India was involved or it was very much important for the India. So these are the initiatives. These all remains in the news. UPSC asked the question. This question, the region and the region for being in the news. These regions remain in the news. Kherson in the Ukraine, and all these areas remained in the news. UPSC asked questions. On the location basis, there is the 5 questions. So you can understand on the location basis, 10 marks. The cutoff 80 marks. This year cutoff is around 80 to 85. So 85 out of 85. If 10 marks from the location, so it's become important to locate the places and know the area. Second question, third question from the previous year. It is from the Israel, and particularly the question was West Asia is very favorite because it's remain in the news, it's remain in the hotbed for the discussion. So UPSC, this is favorite topic for the UPSC to ask question. Third question, fourth question, again from the international news, and location based. Again, this is the location of the different region, cities. Fifth question, again, these regions remain in news due to the successful coup. What is the coup? Particularly, this is pronunciated as the coup, but it is written as the coup. So it is the coup means the there is the military topple the elected government or the democratic government and establish its own rule. Military establishes its own rule. This is known many times. This is turned into the dictatorship. Again, this was Somalia was in the news due to the severe famine. UPSC asked the question. So this is the 5 question, 10 marks out of 80 marks. That is the cutoff. So you could understand the effectiveness of the location based that is covered in the Hindu. So Iran is in the news, West Asia is in the news. So we will try to again examine what are the other areas that is around the Iran. We know that in the east side it is the Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan. In the northeast area, its north region is north boundary is touched by the Caspian Sea, and this will be Persian Gulf. Everyone knows that the Persian Gulf touches the Iran because the Persia was the ancient name of the Iran. So, but one thing could be confusing is Saudi Arabia touches Iran or not. So Saudi Arabia doesn't touch the boundary of Iran. You should be careful about that. Here even the Kuwait doesn't touch the boundary of the Iran. It is the Iraq only touch. Here the Turkey touch the boundary. Armenia also touch here. Okay. This is the Armenia and also Azerbaijan. So these are the area you don't need to memorize, but again and again when you keep uh, rovering in this area, whenever the news comes on this, it will be naturally when you see the question in UPSC, you will have you will strike. It will strike in your mind that what are the area that is there. Again, the area that remains news is this Yemen. So you should know that the Yemen and Oman is touching Arabian Sea. The question could be that whether the Saudi Arabia touch Arabian Sea or not. So it is the Saudi Arabia and Arab part is part of its name and Arabian Sea. So many times if you are not clear that the Saudi Arabia doesn't touch the Arabian Sea, it is very natural that you will make a incorrect attempt. This is the Arabian Plateau that touch the Arabian Sea. That's why the name of the sea is the Arabian Sea. But the Saudi Arabia as a country doesn't touch. Like the Indian subcontinent also include the Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Nepal. But India is a separate nation. Just at in the Saudi Arabian Plateau, Saudi Arabia is one of the nation. Bab al-Mandab, that is the choke point here, the strait that is always in the news for the very long. You should be very careful this area. This is known as the Horn of Africa. Bab al-Mandab touch Somalia, Djibouti and Eritrea. Okay, here the Yemen. And the Houthi militia is very active. They are targeting the ships. That's why this is in the news for the long time. So Bab al-Mandab is important, hot topic. Gulf of Aden, this you should remember. This is Red Sea. Okay, and here this passes through the Suez Canal that already we have covered. So this is the thing that you need to remember with respect to this news. Next relevant news is with respect to this Adani Group and Hindenburg report, and Supreme Court of India has given the verdict in the favor of, at least in the favor of the Adani Group. But in this news, you should only know that this export committee, the name of this export committee is AM Sapre Committee, and mainly this issue was associated with the manipulation of the shares and also the transaction practices that was not reported to the SEBI as per the SEBI regulation. So this was in the news, and this was in the also it was in the Supreme Court. One more thing you should remember is the organized crime and corruption reporting project. This was provided by the private player that belong from the Mauritius, that was also made the basis for this case. So this separate committee, maybe UPSC asks the question on the basis of this. This is sufficient. This news is also important, and it is particularly important with the post as per the syllabus of UPSC in the GS Part 2, and particularly there is the non-constitutional body. So Secretary General Lok Sabha Secretariat is the non-constitutional body, but it has very important role in the Lok Sabha because it is administrative head. A Secretary General is administrative head of the Lok Sabha, and you should know some basics like the Secretary General is appointed by the Speaker, and it is equal to the Cabinet Secretariat post. Cabinet Secretariat is the highest civil servant for the government of India, highest government for the government of the India, most senior most civil servant. Okay. Most senior most civil servant for the government of the India. So this is very important to know, and this is appointed by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, and it is the administrative head. So you should know this information with respect to the Secretary General Lok Sabha Secretariat. Other information you should know that the Secretary General act as the advisor to the Speaker. Where is the Speaker? Yeah, Speaker, advisor to the Speaker, and he acts under the authority in the name of the Speaker and also passes the order in the name of the Speaker. One more thing you should know that the Secretary General is only answerable to the Speaker. Okay. Whom? Answerable Speaker. One more thing. On the name of President, the Secretary General summons the MPs of the Parliament to attend the session of the Parliament, and many a times in the absence of the Speaker, the Secretary General authenticate the bills. So this is that importance of this post of Secretary General. You should know. This is all about that. The other important news on the front page is again the rule, particularly with respect to the right to information has been tightened, means the power with the people is diluted. As the rules tightens means our accessibility to the information becomes weaker and diluted. What is the concept of right to information? Right to information is the concept came out of the particularly with understanding that the citizens are the ultimate sovereign power in this country, and they are entitled to know the information what the government is doing and what are the different things taking place. But yes, there is the restriction, and this comes under the Article 19A as well. 19A is because under the this particular Supreme Court case, PUCL versus Union of India case, Supreme Court accepted that the right to information is integral to the Indian democracy, and Article 19(1)(a). So now what the changes has been taken place. The main change is that now the information, general public information, will be given from particularly from the official, that is the general manager and the divisional railway manager. Before that, it was from the public officer appointed in each of the office, and this change comes after there was the right to information RTI plea, and information come out of this pleas that on each of the railway station the government is spending 1.25 lakh for the selfie point, means where the Modi ji's pictures will be there and the people will go and click the picture. So this has been criticized that if you are spending 1.2 lakh on a temporary booth and 6.25 lakh just to promote the government, because even this selfie point doesn't include the basic information with respect to scheme and others, just your pictures, and you have to click the picture. So this is like the promoting the government on the exchange taxes paid by the government. This is also negatively impact the functioning of democracy, as the it provide the advantageous position for the government in the elections. So this has been criticized, and if the dilution means if you have to get the information from the higher authority, it is difficult to get, because it's take the time. For example, if you have to take any scheme from your gram panchayat, it will be easy to access your gram pradhan or the panchayat head. But if you have to take the same information from the chief minister, so you have to go to the state capital. If you have to get the information from the prime minister, you have to come to the national capital. So it becomes difficult. So it is the way to make accessibility of information difficult, such steps are taken. So this is being criticized. Recently there has been the change in Right to Information Act. You should know all this thing. We will discuss under the when we will discuss Right to Information and under the GS paper 2 is talking about the award Nritya Kala Nidhi given to the Vasant Lakshmi. And one more thing that this news have you can utilize is that the Singapore Council General said that has particularly the connection between the Tamil culture and tradition with the Singapore. It's mentioned that the Tamil is the fourth official language of the Singapore. So whenever the question comes from the India relation with the Southeast Asian countries, you should mention this. And people to people link are intervened with the heritage and tradition of fine art of the Tamil and Singapore. This is the very much intervened. So you can mention this under the people to people contact with the Southeast Asian countries. This news is associated with the antimicrobial resistance. So recent survey found that in the most of the cases, this particularly 94%, what is the antimicrobial resistance? This is like the resistance capacity of the infection and bacteria become, particularly the bacteria become more evolved, more stronger if you are continuously exposed that bacteria to the particular antibiotics that is not needed. Simple example, take that there is one criminal, one thief. Police used to slap, just one slap, and he used to give the reply. But he becomes so habitual, police start slapping him so regular, even when he was not doing anything, that he becomes so much resistant, so much capable to face even the 100 slap, and he doesn't say anything. So the same way, the bacteria, if you gives lot of antibiotics when it is not needed, bacteria evolve and your medicines become ineffective. This is negative impact. This has negative impact for the medical care. It has been found that only in the 6% of the cases where patients go and the doctors do proper diagnosis, and after that, that's the antibiotics. 94% of the cases, they even don't have the clear-cut diagnosis. Even they prescribe the antibiotics. This is the case. This is important because you can use under the impact of this antibiotics in the health of the environment as well as the cure system. This news again and again, this is coming. This is related to the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita and IPC, and it is in news because of its harsh punishment. So this is the case where the hit and run cases are there, and the punishment for the driver has increased. Previously it was the 2 years, but now it is the minimum 1 to 5 years, and in case of when the driver doesn't report to the police, in that case it will be 1 to 10 years in imprisonment. So driver association, they are protesting against this increase in the intensity of the punishment. So the thing is that many cases there is the lynching of the drivers when there is the accident. The main logic is that it is not generally the always the fault of the drivers, and many times the poor condition of the road results into the accidents. So overall, the demand is that there should be a proper package for the with respect to the accident policy. There should be the punishment, yeah, it will create the deterrence, but also there should be the compensation, and safety measures should be there so that we can deal this road accident in holistic manner. Despite this is very grave issue, the number of the road accident has increased, but the thing is that it is not solution that if you increase the punishment, this accident will reduce, because this is associated with the other area as well, particularly the poor condition of road, poor management of the signal lights, and also the traffic police. All these things need to be taken care. So this is talking about all these things. This editorial is based on the recent change in the, particularly the law that was about to scrap this reasonability doctrine from the jurisprudence. Particularly this was the used by the Supreme Court of the Israel, and this is particularly you can use this editorial with respect to the comparison of the constitution that has been provided under the syllabus of GS paper 2. So this particularly area has been related to the comparison of the constitution in India and Israel, it could be. So this one thing you should remember with respect to this editorial is that this Knesset is the legislative body of the Israel. The second thing that you should remember is what is the reasonability doctrine? Reasonability doctrine gives the more power to the Supreme Court. Means it can check whether the law legislative body has followed not only the procedure but whether this law is arbitrary, despite if legislative body is following the procedure, but if it is arbitrary law, then that also could be struck down. In India, this was given, this definition was given in this two judgment from the Supreme Court. One is the Chintaman Rao case, and the second is the Papasanam Labor Union. Okay, so these were the two cases under that Supreme Court defined, because India is also, Indian judiciary is also shifting towards the due process of law, and this reasonability doctrine provide some of the due process of law. If those judiciary which have the due process of law, you will study in a very comprehensive manner what is the difference between the due process of law and the doctrine procedure established by law. So particularly India has now shifting after the Maneka Gandhi case towards the due process of law. But in the natural way, this due process of law is very much associated with the Constitution of US. Where is the US? Where is the, yeah, US. This is also associated with the liberal democracy like the Australia, Canada, and UK. Okay. So particularly a country with the single house, it is talking about the Israel, and same as the ceremonial president as the Indian case, and no written constitution. So you should know that what is the no written constitution. It doesn't mean that there is no constitution. Written constitution means there is the written law in a single book like the Indian constitution or the constitution of United States of America, but there are many countries where constitutional laws are not written in a single book. There are a lot of statutory books that govern the country's constitutional power. So UK is such example of the unwritten constitution. One more is this Israel, you should know. And if there is the more power to the judiciary, means if the power is balanced between the legislature and judiciary, there is the check and balance. No one can exceed its own limit to cross and violate the power of people. This is the main utility of this check and balance system. Okay, so I hope this is This article is also important with respect to the GS paper 2, and particularly this is violating the fundamental right under Article 21, life and liberty. Particularly recently we saw that under the Puttaswamy case, Supreme Court brought that it is right to privacy that comes under the fundamental rights, and it's declared that it comes under the life and liberty under the Article 21. Okay, so if the this search procedure that is provided under search provision that is provided under this Income Tax Act, particularly Income Tax Act 1961, I think this is here, this Income Tax Act 1961 and the section 132. This is very harsh. Even this doesn't require the warrant from the magistrate. Generally, the search procedure is provided under the Code of Criminal Procedure. But this Income Tax Act 1961 provides a very harsh provision, and it doesn't require this magistrate authority for the search operation. So in many cases we have seen this violates the right to privacy of the citizen. Particularly there is this has mentioned a case where it was observed that in that particular search operation it took place for the 3-4 days from November 3 to 7, and this income tax official detained the family for the 4 days as long as it went. So this particular article is talking about this. There need to be balance between the safety of society, like this provision, harsh provision has been still intact, upheld by the court on the basis that it prevent the social evils, and this is needed for the social security tool for the social security. But there is the concept of the doctrine of proportionality, that how much a law is going to benefit a society and how it is going to violate the fundamental rights or the right of citizens. So there should be the balance, and this balance is explained under the doctrine of proportionality. So Supreme Court has particularly in many cases, particularly this doctrine of proportionality was brought into the just Puttaswamy case as well. Uh, so it has given 4 guidelines to test this doctrine of proportionality. The first is that it should have the legitimate aim. Means if you are going to violate the fundamental right on the ground of this social security. So violation should be taken in the case of the legitimate aim. It doesn't mean that you are taking the arbitrary action and you are violating for anything. So, and measures adopted must be rationally connected to its objective. To make it simple, just take an example of the state. Think that the mosquito in your mouth, particularly your house, is going to harm you or your family, and they are asking that every day in the evening, 2 police officers will come and they will find the mosquito and they will kill by the gun. So they are coming in every evening. They are protecting the health of your family member. So every evening these policemen came and they start targeting the mosquito by their gun, and they are breaking your AC, your LED TV, your everything. So when the you go to ask that why you are doing this, the simple answer is that security of your health. But here the security of health is that much not being taken care as the harm that is occurring to my family. So there is no legitimate aim in this case. There is no balance between the rationally connected to the objective. And so in such cases you cannot do that. The right to privacy will supersede. So in that case, that particular act will be declared as null and void. Are you getting now? How any act of the government can be tested by the going through this 4 guideline: legitimate aim, it should be rationally connected to the objective, and there is always this particularly alternative and less intrusive means. I mean, if you are coming to kill the mosquito, instead of killing from your gun and entering two police person in my house, there could be the alternative mean that doesn't violate my right to privacy. Like you can spray the gas or the insecticide that kills the mosquitoes. And the last guideline is that it should be there should be the balance between the means chosen and right that violates. This means chosen should not be that much harsh that is the instead of providing safety and security, it is harming. So this is the thing that has been dealt. This doctrine of proportionality is very important. You should know. We will also study it on under the right to privacy under Article 21, also 20, Article 19. We will discuss all this thing in a very detailed manner. So this article is all about this. This article you can use under again GS paper 2. Now I think that GS paper 2 dominates today's newspaper, and under the health sector, this particularly this could be used as the further point to write that what are the issue. Particularly the overall article is about the mismanagement or lack of management in the blood collection, blood product in the Indian health care system, and even some data has been provided that how it is disparity and this is the mismanagement across the world. But in the Indian case, this is giving specific to the Indian case, but you have to be these points can be used at the overall uh, lack in the infrastructure and management system in the health sector. So this is suggesting, like the suggesting point to decrease the global disparity in the health. The first is that need to the collaboration, international collaboration. Second is that adoption of the digital health solution, and third point you can add increased access to the medical countermeasures. So these are the things that you can use at the further point. Particularly one more information that could be the you should know this blood and its various product can be used in the scheduled surgeries, emergency procedures, also in the cancer, thalassemia, and also into the PPH. So UPSC can ask this question, these points can be given, and this could be whether this could be used in the as the blood and its various product. So if these are these are things there, those options will be correct. You can use some of the data due to this management, the shortage due to the shortage of 6 lakh units, 6 lakh lakhs units that was observed in 2019-20, and it resulted in a serious health implication. There was a shortage during the particularly the data is from the 2019-20 that the shortage in accident victims' life at the risk in the 12,000 case due to this mismanagement in the blood and its blood management of the blood and its products. Heart surgery 1 lakh risk, 30,000 shortage in the bone marrow transplantation. So these are the data you can use. If it's remain in your mind, it will impact your answer in the mains.